Welcome everybody to another episode of Dave's Movie Dailies. Coming live, well, not coming live, coming from a remote location, doing the next video based on Mufasa, the Lion King, which is a prequel to the Lion King, the 2019 remake of the 1994 Lion King, which was an animated movie that came out years ago from Walt Disney. So yeah, it might look like I'm over here supposedly chilling. I look very dapper. So yeah, continuing on. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm reading my notes. So this movie was released on December 20th, 2024 of last year. It was directed by Barry Jenkins and produced by Walt Disney Pictures. So it isn't a live action, because I mean, a lot of people say this is the live action movie, but live action is more with real life people or real life situations, or pretty much a real life whatever it is. But this is not live action because it's kind of it's called realistic. It's supposed to be real animals, but real animals were used. Maybe they looked at them and they studied them to get like live reactions of what they look like or whatever the case. Look at my beard. My beard looks looking kind of thick. Woo! So it's known as photorealistic animation, but it's still CGI. But it's really lifelike, so it looks almost real life. That's why a lot of people refer to it as a live action interpretation of The Lion King. But it's just photorealistic. It's still CGI. Next, this movie serves as a prequel sequel to the Lion King remake of 2019. So if you watch this movie, oh yes, and before I get into the nitty gritty of this movie, this is going to be a spoiler alert. So you got 5 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go watch the movie and then come back. There will be spoilers in this movie. Okay, again, there will be spoilers. So this is a sequel prequel. So the movie commences where Kiara, who is Simba's daughter and Nala's daughter, is pretty much being babysat by Rafiki and Timon and Pumbaa. And Rafiki decides to tell him the origin story, pretty much, of Mufasa and how he became the king of the Pride Lands and all that stuff. So that's the sequel part of it. The prequel part of it is the story that we're going to be enduring during this movie, which is Mufasa the Lion King and how he becomes the Lion King. As you know, back in 1994, Disney struck gold with the 2D animated version of this movie, cementing a monumental juggernaut, a film that to this day is beloved by generations, youth and adults of alike. It's my favorite movie of all time. My favorite Disney movie of all time. A lot of people might have Aladdin. See, to me, it's The Lion King, then goes Tarzan, then goes between Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin. And that's where. No, actually, I'm lying. Sorry. It's The Lion King, Tarzan, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Then it goes in between Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin. But yeah. This was one of the biggest movies that I used to watch continuously. And even when they came out with the sequels, Lion King Simba's Pride, which was Lion King 2, and Lion King 1.5, I loved those too, but they weren't released in theater and they weren't treated with the whole thing of like the theatrical, money and all that stuff. So, of course, there was 2 sequels. And they also came out with Timon and Pumbaa Timon and Pumbaa series, along with the Lion Guard. Lion Guard was another animated series that came out. I remember I saw it looked like it was a movie of some sort. But yeah, the Lion Guard. It's been cemented in pop culture history as one of the biggest franchises ever. And obviously they were going to get the live action movie treatment or photorealistic movie treatment sometime or another. And when the 2019 movie came out, they made $1 billion. Let me see. With the popular trend that Disney has adopted with making all these into live action, they were going to obviously do the live action remake or the photorealistic remake, and then right after those $1 billion, they decided let's do a sequel or prequel or whatever the case. Like right now, they are greenlit for a third one, so this is a prequel, so that probably might be a sequel. Jon Favreau was the one who directed the first movie. A lot of people hated it because of the fact that these lions and these animals didn't have any kind of they didn't have any kind of facial expressions, which I thought was pretty much fine because of the fact that, like, why would a lion or an animal have facial expressions? But a lot of people said, okay, well, then why do they have voices if they sing and all that stuff? I'm like, I get you. So yeah, in this movie, this director Barry Jenkins decided to correct all that, and he gave them emotion. So the lions do have smiles and smirks and facial expressions and all that stuff. So they did listen. And they a lot of people said that in the original film, in the 2019 film, they didn't change much about the story. It was just like a copycat, a direct remake, which I didn't see it as a bad thing. I thought it was actually pretty good that they stayed to the story, but a lot of people hated the fact that they didn't add any kind of like difference. So here's sort of a difference. They in this one they actually made a prequel. They made their own story, which is Mufasa's upbringing and how he became the king of the Pride Lands. But let me see something. I'm just reading my thing here. So the movie, the 2019 movie broke a 657 billion dollars in the box office of a budget of 250 and 260 million, which was obviously that's what garnered a sequel or a prequel. The audience loved a few. Let me see. Yeah, so that I'm getting ahead of myself by reading all this stuff. Okay. After 2019's success with the film, Disney began working on a follow-up. It quickly became a prequel to the Mufasa story. Barry Jenkins as new director, first time. So here's a little bit about the people who voiced what's his name? The one who voiced. Because till now, it was always been James Earl Jones who voiced Mufasa. So this was the first time that they were actually going to take it to a whole other level and move. You know, it was going to be a younger Mufasa. So they decided to bring somebody younger. And it's crazy that, you know, James Earl Jones passed away last year. So that would have been his last film, but I guess his last film might have been The Lion King, the 2019, or maybe Coming to America. I don't know which movie it was, but I know that this movie kind of cements his legacy as well, because not only Star Wars, he's done a lot of movies that you can remember him for, James Earl Jones. But yes, that film, his name is Aaron Pierre. Aaron Pierre was the one who voiced a younger Mufasa, and he's gotten pretty known for a movie that he just came out with last year called Rebel Ridge on Netflix, and he's had another TV series called Underground Railroad. It was a mini series that was on Amazon Prime. So that's how he's gotten his little notice. But now he's going to be donning the lantern suit, which he's going to portray Jon Stewart on the Max show Lanterns as a Green Lantern. So it's going to be he's blowing up. He's blowing up. But in Mufasa, he voices the voice of young Mufasa, and as he embarks in the adventure of a lifetime. We see young Mufasa accidentally fall into danger and is swept away in a rapid river. Mufasa's father jumps in to save him and saves him by flinging him out of the raging waters. Unfortunately, his father is not able to swim out, and he ends up perishing. And he ends up going. He ends up coming out of the waters. And young Taka, who is later on known as Scar, ends up saving him, and he ends up getting adopted into this different pride. But accidentally they end up getting this other lion killed, and that pride ends up blaming Taka and Mufasa as the murderers of their youngling, and they decided they want to get revenge on this pride. The mother and father of that pride end up sending him away, and they end up, pretty much. So they end up getting this young cub killed, right? So Mads Mikkelsen plays the leader of that pride, and he's out for revenge. And he ends up losing Mufasa and Taka for a long time. But they've been on this revenge crusade to get a revenge on that pride that they believe Taka and Mufasa are part of, and they want to get their vengeance on them, right? So eventually Taka and Mufasa get older, and they end up finding them, and they end up going to attack them. The mother and the father tell Taka and Mufasa to go away. That they're all that matters. It doesn't matter that they're the future of the pride. So eventually, Mufasa and Taka make a run for it. They escape, and I guess we are led to believe that pride gets killed by that other pride that's looking for vengeance, because we never see them again. So they end up going on this whole adventure where they meet with Rafiki and Saravi, and you see the future of the Pride Lands right there. Taka's mother sends him away, so the film is told through Rafiki's lips to Timon and Pumbaa and Kiara. This sets up the events of 2019's The Lion King. It's an origin story, so this is an origin story that we eventually get to see the creation of Pride Rock, where the Pride Lands are, because the Pride Lands are known as this place called Malele, and they have to make a journey to Malele and start everything there with the future of what is to be. Obviously, we find out the story of Scar, who was really known as Taka. See, but the thing that kills me, this is the one thing that kills me about this story. There's a lot of people who try to tell me, like, oh yeah, they try to explain to me, but the thing is, no, I need a solid proof answer to this question. In the original Lion King, we find out that Scar and Mufasa were from the same mother and father. Okay? But then in Mufasa the Lion King, we find out that Mufasa was adopted into this pride where Taka is part. Right? So in The Lion King 2019, we hear Zazu say, I've known you my whole life. So as in, like, knowing them from, like, birth, like from the young. But yet we find out that Zazu meets them while they're in their journey. They're gonna, he ends up seeing them when they're like teenagers in their early 20s or whatever. So that doesn't make sense with me. And then another thing is when in the original Lion King, what's his name? Scar says to Mufasa, "You got the best of the genes. I got the lower end of the gene pool," as in, like, they came from the same womb, from the same genetics, like their parents. So one gets the best of their parents, and Scar got the worst of it. But yet we find out that in Mufasa the Lion King, Taka saves him from getting eaten by a gator, because he ends up on a log, and he ends up kind of saving him, and then they adopt him into his pride. So he was never part of their family. Mufasa was adopted, pretty much. And in the end, when they get to the Pride Lands, his mother's not even dead. He sees his mother once again. But my whole thing is that that's one thing that irks me when Disney takes freedom to add story to make the story a little richer, but they don't fix the plot holes that they open. Like, what do you mean that he's talking about the you got the best of the gene pool and I got the shallow end of the gene pool, but we find out that supposedly no, we found out that he was adopted. So how was it that he got the best genetics and all that stuff? Like, to me that just didn't seem right. I mean, I love the movies. Both movies are great musicals, great time to be had, with the family and all that stuff. I give Mufasa from 1 to 10, I give it like a 7.5 because I didn't like those little slight errors that they made. The animation was great. The musical was great. I could actually see this as another Broadway hit if they ever actually brought it to life. But yeah, one of the songs killed me. Mads Mikkelsen, the leader of the other Pride that was attacking them, he had this one stupid song called Bye Bye. Oh my God, it killed me. But then again, you always have to put that but in the Lion King 2019, I'm not talking about the 2019, I'm talking about the original 1994. Scar had a song called Be Prepared, which was amazing. In 2019, they crapped all over it. But Bye Bye, oh my God, it was such a stupid song. But yeah, this has been Dave D. Saint for Dave's Movie Dailies, and I just reviewed Mufasa. Stay tuned for tomorrow. I have another one popped up. Have a good one.